My name is Lila. I've always known what I wanted: freedom, fame, and a life on my own terms. But dreams don't come cheap. Every night, I dance, not just for the applause, but for a chance at something bigger. To be a model. To make it. But life, it's funny. Sometimes, it throws you a curveball. You think you're in control, and then a couple, strangers, come into your life and offer you a deal you can't refuse. Surrogacy. They wanted a baby, and I needed money. I never thought I'd say yes, but when the baby's born, something goes wrong. The couple disappears. I was left alone, with a child I didn't plan for, and no way out, leaving me with a choice I never expected to face. Will they come back to claim their child? Or will I be left alone with the burden of raising this child? Stay tuned till the end as my story is shared to you all. And if you want more stories like this, please hit the subscription button.
The grand chandelier of the Metropolitan Hall cast a cascade of shimmering light over the assembled elite, their murmurs and clinking glasses creating a symphony of anticipation. As the velvet curtains parted, a hush fell over the audience, all eyes drawn to the lone figure poised center stage. Lila stood tall, her silhouette accentuated by the form-fitting, silver-shining dress that flowed like liquid silk with her every movement. The first notes of a haunting melody filled the air, and she began to dance. Her body moved with a grace that seemed almost otherworldly, each step telling a story of passion and longing. As she spun and leaped, the world outside the stage ceased to exist. There was only the music, the movement, and the palpable connection between performer and audience. I in the front row, Ethan and Sophia watched in rapt attention. Ethan, a tall man with sharp features and a perpetual air of determination, leaned forward, captivated. Beside him, Sophia, elegant and poised, couldn't tear her eyes away from Lila's performance. As the final note lingered in the air, Lila struck her concluding pose, chest heaving with exertion, a sheen of sweat glistening on her brow. The audience erupted into applause, but for Lila, the world remained a blur. Her thoughts drifted to the hospital room where her father lay, battling an illness that showed no signs of relenting. Backstage, as she toweled off and prepared to leave, Lila's friend and fellow dancer, Mia, approached. "You were incredible tonight, Lila." "Thanks, Mia." Lila forced a smile. "Just trying to keep it together. How's your dad doing?" "Not great. The medical bills are piling up and—" She trailed off, the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her. Mia placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "If anyone can handle this, it's you." As Lila gathered her belongings, a stagehand approached. "Excuse me, Miss Lila? There's a couple outside who'd like to speak with you." Curious and a bit apprehensive, Lila made her way to the lobby where Ethan and Sophia waited. "Miss Lila," Ethan began, extending a hand, "your performance was truly mesmerizing." "Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Ethan, and this is my wife, Sophia." "Thank you," Lila replied, shaking his hand. "I appreciate your kind words. We were wondering if we could discuss a personal matter with you," Sophia interjected, her voice gentle yet tinged with urgency. Lila hesitated but nodded. "Of course." They moved to a quiet corner of the lobby. Ethan took a deep breath. "This might come as a surprise, but we've been searching for someone to help us start a family. We were wondering if you'd consider becoming a surrogate mother for us." Lila's eyes widened, the proposition catching her off guard. I don't know what to say. We understand this is a lot to take in," Sophia added quickly. "But we believe you're the perfect person to help us. Of course, we'd compensate you generously for your time and effort." The weight of her father's medical bills and her own financial struggles flashed through Lila's mind. But the thought of pregnancy, of altering her body, threatened her dreams of becoming a top model. "I appreciate your offer," she said slowly, "but I need some time to think about it." "Of course," Ethan replied. "Take all the time you need. Here's my card. Please, don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions." As Lila walked away, the weight of their proposition settled heavily on her shoulders, intertwining with the burdens she already bore. That night, as she lay in bed, sleep eluding her, Lila's mind raced. The path before her had always been clear: dance, model, succeed. But now, a crossroads loomed, and she was uncertain which direction to take. The city's lights flickered outside her window, mirroring the turmoil within her. In the quiet of her room, Lila faced a decision that would alter the course of her life forever. The rhythmic hum of the city served as a backdrop to Lila's internal turmoil. The proposition from Ethan and Sophia lingered in her mind, intertwining with her aspirations and fears. In the dimly lit studio, Lila practiced her routines, each movement a testament to her dedication. Yet, today, her reflection in the mirror seemed distant, her focus fractured. Mia entered, observing Lila's uncharacteristic hesitation. "Lila, you've been off lately. What's going on?" Pausing, Lila sighed. "I received an unusual offer after the last performance." She recounted the encounter with Ethan and Sophia, detailing their surrogacy proposal. "Wow, that's a lot to process. What are you thinking?" I declined. "Pregnancy could change my body, and modeling agencies aren't exactly forgiving." Mia nodded, understanding the industry's demands. "True, but it could also provide financial relief, especially with your dad's situation." The mention of her father brought a shadow over Lila's face. "He's not improving. The bills are overwhelming." Days turned into weeks, and her father's condition worsened. The weight of unpaid medical bills pressed heavily on her. One evening, as she sorted through a stack of invoices, her phone buzzed with a message from the hospital, reminding her of an overdue payment. Desperation gnawed at her. The dream of modeling seemed to drift further away with each passing day. In the quiet of her apartment, surrounded by reminders of her struggles, Lila revisited Ethan's business card. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the number. "Hello, Ethan? It's Lila. I've been thinking about your offer." A week later, in a sunlit cafe, Lila sat across from Ethan and Sophia. "Thank you for meeting us, Lila," Sophia began, her eyes reflecting hope. "I've decided to proceed with the surrogacy," Lila stated, determination in her voice. "But I have conditions." Ethan leaned in, attentive. "Of course. We're willing to accommodate your needs. I want assurance that my medical expenses are covered, and I need an advance to address my father's hospital bills." The couple exchanged glances and nodded. "We can arrange that," Ethan agreed. Over the next few weeks, legal agreements were drafted, outlining the terms of the surrogacy. Lila underwent medical evaluations, and the process moved forward with a blend of hope and apprehension. As the embryo transfer date approached, Lila stood before her mirror, contemplating the journey ahead. The path she'd chosen was fraught with uncertainty, but it also held the promise of new beginnings for her father, for her dreams, and for the life she would carry. In the stillness of that moment, Lila embraced her reflection, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. As the months progressed, Lila's life became a delicate balance between her dance routines and the responsibilities of her surrogacy. The initial stages of the pregnancy had been smooth, allowing her to continue performing, though with modified movements to accommodate her changing body. One crisp morning, Lila arrived at the clinic for a routine prenatal checkup. The waiting room buzzed with the low hum of conversations and the rustling of magazine pages. She absent-mindedly rubbed her growing belly, a subconscious gesture of connection to the life developing within her. "Lila Thompson?" The nurse's call pulled her from her thoughts. In the examination room, Dr. Patel, a seasoned obstetrician with kind eyes, conducted the ultrasound. The monitor displayed the familiar, grainy image of the fetus. "Everything looks good," Dr. Patel began, "but there's a slight concern. The measurements indicate a potential anomaly. I'd like to conduct further tests to be sure." A knot formed in Lila's stomach. "What kind of anomaly?" "It's too early to say definitively," Dr. Patel replied gently. "But it's important we investigate further." Over the next few weeks, Lila underwent a series of tests, each appointment deepening her anxiety. The once joyous anticipation of bringing life into the world was now overshadowed by uncertainty. One afternoon, as she rested in her apartment, her phone buzzed. It was Ethan. "Lila, we've received the latest test results," he began, his voice devoid of its usual warmth. "The doctors are concerned about the baby's health." "I know," Lila replied softly, "but we don't have all the answers yet." "Sophia and I have been discussing this," Ethan continued, "and we're not prepared to handle a child with potential health issues." A cold chill ran through Lila. "What are you saying?" "We're leaving the country," Ethan stated bluntly. "We can't go through with this." "You're abandoning your child?" Lila's voice trembled with disbelief. "It's not that simple," Ethan replied defensively. "We have our reasons." The call ended abruptly, leaving Lila in a suffocating silence. The weight of their betrayal pressed down on her. Lila dialed Ethan's number, calling him back several times, but he didn't pick. Tears streamed down Lila's face. In the days that followed, Lila grappled with a maelstrom of emotions. The financial support she had relied upon vanished, and the future she had envisioned crumbled. The dance studio, once her sanctuary, now felt like a distant dream. Seeking solace, she confided in Mia. "I feel so lost," Lila admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're not alone," Mia reassured her, squeezing her hand. "We'll get through this together." Determined to face the challenges ahead, Lila sought legal counsel, but the complexities of surrogacy agreements left her with little recourse. The medical bills for her father loomed large, and the prospect of single parenthood was daunting. Yet, amidst the darkness, a spark of resilience ignited within her. She began attending support groups for expectant mothers, finding strength in shared experiences. Through counseling, she learned coping mechanisms to manage her stress and anxiety. As the pregnancy progressed, Lila felt an unexpected bond with the child growing inside her. The initial detachment she had maintained, knowing she was carrying someone else's baby, transformed into a profound connection. One evening, as she sat by her father's bedside, he stirred and opened his eyes. "Dad," Lila whispered, "I'm going to be a mother." A weak smile spread across his face. "You're stronger than you know, Lila." His words resonated with her, bolstering her resolve. She decided to embrace the journey ahead, not as a surrogate fulfilling an obligation, but as a mother preparing to welcome her child into the world. In the final weeks of her pregnancy, Lila transformed her small apartment into a nurturing space, readying herself for the arrival of her son. The dance studio became a place of healing, where she choreographed movements that celebrated life and resilience. The betrayal of Ethan and Sophia had left scars, but it also revealed Lila's inner strength. She faced the unknown with courage, embracing the challenges and joys of motherhood that awaited her. As she stood by the window, cradling her newborn son, the city lights shimmering below, Lila knew that while her path had been altered, her journey was just beginning. The delivery room was filled with the soft hum of medical equipment and the muted conversations of nurses. Lila lay on the hospital bed, her body exhausted, but her spirit alight with anticipation. After hours of labor, a piercing cry broke through the room's sterile ambience. "It's a boy," announced Dr. Patel, gently placing the newborn on Lila's chest. Tears streamed down Lila's face as she cradled her son. The fears and uncertainties that had plagued her throughout the pregnancy dissolved in this singular moment. Despite earlier concerns, her baby was healthy, a blessing she hadn't dared to hope for. In the days that followed, Lila settled into her apartment with her newborn, whom she named Aiden. The space, once quiet and solitary, now resonated with the soft coos and cries of her son. The walls, adorned with posters of models and dancers, stood as reminders of her aspirations, a world she now viewed through a different lens. Late one evening, as Lila rocked Aiden to sleep, she glanced at a stack of modeling portfolios on her coffee table. The dream of gracing runways and magazine covers had been her guiding star for years. But now, with Aiden in her arms, priorities shifted. The modeling industry, with its relentless demands and unforgiving standards, seemed incompatible with the responsibilities of single motherhood. After much reflection, Lila made the heart-wrenching decision to put her modeling ambitions on hold. Her days became a tapestry of diaper changes, feedings, and lullabies. Each smile from Aiden, each tiny milestone, filled her with a profound sense of fulfillment that no runway ever could. Support came from unexpected quarters. Mia, her closest friend, became a constant presence, offering assistance and companionship. She would often drop by with groceries, help with household chores, or simply provide a listening ear. "You don't have to do this alone," Mia would say, cradling Aiden with practiced ease. Lila's father, whose health had been the catalyst for her surrogacy decision, began to show signs of recovery. The joy of becoming a grandfather seemed to invigorate him. He would sit by the window, Aiden nestled in his arms, sharing stories of the past and dreams for the future. "Life has a way of surprising us," he mused one afternoon, watching Aiden's tiny fingers grasp his thumb. Financial challenges persisted, but Lila approached them with newfound resilience. She took on freelance work, leveraging her dance skills to teach classes at local community centers. The flexible hours allowed her to be present for Aiden while still contributing to their livelihood. Balancing work and motherhood was no easy feat. There were days when exhaustion threatened to overwhelm her, moments when the weight of her responsibilities felt insurmountable. But in those times, she reminded herself of the journey she'd undertaken, the challenges she'd faced, and the strength she'd discovered within. One evening, after settling Aiden into his crib, Lila sat on her balcony, the city's lights stretching out before her. She reflected on the path that had led her here, the unexpected proposition from Ethan and Sophia, their subsequent betrayal, and the unforeseen blessing of Aiden's health. Life had not unfolded as she'd planned, but in its unpredictability, it had given her a gift beyond measure. Motherhood had revealed facets of herself she hadn't known existed, depths of love, reservoirs of patience, and an unyielding determination to build a future for her and her son. As the months passed, Lila found a rhythm. She cherished the quiet mornings with Aiden, the afternoons teaching dance, and the evenings spent in the company of friends and family. Her modeling dreams remained, not as a source of regret, but as a testament to her evolution. In embracing motherhood, Lila discovered that life's detours often lead to destinations more beautiful than those we envision for ourselves. And in Aiden's eyes, she saw the reflection of a future filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. Years had passed since Aiden's birth, and Lila had settled into a life rich with the joys and challenges of motherhood. Her days were a blend of dance rehearsals, teaching, and cherishing moments with her son. The pain of Ethan and Sophia's abandonment had dulled over time, replaced by a profound bond with Aiden. One crisp autumn morning, as Lila and Aiden strolled through a local park, she noticed a familiar couple approaching. Her heart raced as recognition set in. It was Ethan and Sophia. "Lila," Ethan began, his voice tinged with remorse. Sophia stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "We've come to apologize and to ask for forgiveness." Lila tightened her grip on Aiden's hand, her protective instincts flaring. "What do you want?" "We made a terrible mistake," Ethan admitted. "Leaving was wrong. We've regretted it every day." Sophia nodded. "We'd like to be part of Aiden's life, to know our son." The audacity of their request stunned Lila. "You abandoned him. You have no right to call him your son." Ethan's expression hardened. "Legally, we are his parents. We could pursue custody." Fear and anger surged within Lila. "You left us when we needed you most. Aiden doesn't even know you." Sophia's demeanor softened. "Please, Lila. We just want a chance to make things right." Lila took a deep breath, her resolve firm. "If you try to take him from me, I will fight you with everything I have." Determined to protect her son, Lila sought legal counsel. Her attorney, Mr. Mike, explained the complexities of the situation. "Given that they are the biological parents, they do have legal standing," he said. "However, their abandonment could work in your favor." The ensuing legal battle was arduous. Ethan and Sophia filed for custody, citing their biological connection. Lila countered, emphasizing their abandonment and her role as Aiden's sole caregiver. In court, Lila testified about the emotional and financial struggles she endured alone. "They left without a word," She recounted, her voice steady. "I had to rebuild my life for Aiden's sake." Ethan and Sophia expressed remorse, claiming they were overwhelmed at the time. "We panicked," Sophia said tearfully. "But we've changed. We want to be there for him now." After weeks of deliberation, the court reached a decision. The judge's gaze was compassionate as he addressed the courtroom. While the biological connection is undeniable, the court cannot overlook the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Thompson willingly abandoned their parental responsibilities, he stated. Miss Lila has provided a loving and stable environment for Aiden. Therefore, custody is awarded to Miss Lila. Relief washed over Lila as she embraced Aiden. Ethan and Sophia looked devastated but remained silent. In the weeks that followed, Lila reflected on the ordeal. She had faced her past and emerged stronger. Her love for Aiden had been tested and proven unbreakable. One evening, as she prepared for a performance, Lila noticed Aiden watching her intently. "Mommy, can I dance with you?" he asked, his eyes shining. Tears welled up as she nodded. "Of course, my love." That night, under the soft glow of stage lights, Lila danced with Aiden by her side. The audience watched in awe as mother and son moved in harmony. In that moment, Lila realized that while her dreams had taken an unexpected turn, they had led her to a place of profound fulfillment. As the final notes played, Lila held Aiden close, the applause resonating around them. She had embraced her role as a mother and rediscovered her passion for dance. Life had come full circle, and she was ready to face whatever the future held, with Aiden by her side.